Hello, YouTube. So there's just drama that just came up. I really wanted to give an unbiased take to see what this all means and try to hash out like who's really right in this situation, right? So between August the Duck and Jidion, and if either of you guys know these people, they're both million level subscribers, just about as successful as you can be on YouTube. But this YouTube drama is going to be pretty large, just looking at these two huge channels, and it's about predator catching that Jidion has been doing. And so I've seen both channels. I've seen Jidion's predator catching. I thought it was really cool. I think it's great entertainment. It's funny to make fun of PDF files to me, and and I just think it's a good laugh all around, and he's doing a good thing, just keeping the kids safe, keeping these guys from being repeat offenders, because that often happens. And so let's just see what August the Duck is really saying about this. What's the criticism? What's wrong with it? And why is he hating on Jidion of all people? He could have made this about other people, but it's about Jidion first and foremost. There's many predator catcher YouTube videos, so it's strange he picks out Jidion, right? But you can see he actually might have been opinionated or biased before. I mean, the only run-in with Jidion 2 years ago, right? He knows who he is, so, and he already said he was bad. I mean, so this guy's probably biased, opinionated.
Well, guys,
coming at it
it's
from
a tale
really
as old
negative
as time.
angle. So
Now,
let's
we've
see.
talked many times about content creators who make content that is thinly veiled as this attempt to like better society or benefit the people around them, when in reality, the only reason that content is being made is because it's benefiting the person who makes it. It's not helping out the people that they claim it is, and a lot of times it's actually at their expense. And one of the most common kinds of content that I see this problem arise is with the whole predator catching genre that seems to be pretty popular these days. And today, I feel like I have some pretty strong evidence that one of the biggest guys who does this is maybe not in it for the right reasons. Now, I've talked about this kind of content before, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I
Hold up. So he says is maybe not in it for the right reasons, but whether or not people want to accept it or think about, are you doing this for the right reason or not? I mean, breaking Jidion's actions down in the rawest way possible, what comes to mind is he's getting a decoy who's completely in a safe environment, interaction, to lead on this guy or woman or whatever, right? Who should be in jail, who should not be in the streets, being able to harass children, being able to do all this nasty crap, right? And it's justice in the deepest essence. I mean, he's doing justice. He's being a good man for his family to be proud of him, for his community to be proud of him. He's a stand-up guy. He's a stand-up figure. He's getting rid of the trash. He's getting rid of the filth. I mean, there's no other way to say it. What if someone robbed your money? What if someone raped your family? What if someone did something horrible to you and it was a crime and they went out unpunished? I mean, a lot of these guys don't serve the right sentences. I think of a lot of us know, okay, they get put on the offenders registry, right? They have to spend some time in prison where they're probably going to get beat up, harassed by the other guys. And part of the reason is because the prison sentence is not bad enough. You have a drug dealer who is probably selling something like, I don't know, weed, psilocybin mushrooms in a state where it's not legal, and they go to prison for a year or 2 years, and they're alongside these freaks or talking, harassing children. They shouldn't be doing all this nasty stuff for the same amount of time in prison. It doesn't make sense, guys. So there's injustice in the system here, and Jidion is helping keep that injustice at bay, keeping these guys out of his community, in prisons, locked behind bars like they should be. He's making money that he deserves to make. Also, it's amazing that he gets to make these videos and people will see oh, maybe I should keep my family away from this guy. Or, oh, I knew this guy was in my town. Holy crap, we got to stay away from this guy. You know, he's educating the public that these guys are actually out there, and that education is invaluable. Obviously, these videos are comedic. They're meant to poke fun at losers and the scum of society, but they're also educational. Like, this is the way it goes down sometimes, and a lot of people might not know that this could be happening to their kid, you know, and how to handle it like this. And Jidion shows you what these guys are actually like, what they're actually doing, how they're catching people, you know, how they're harassing these children, and how they're baiting people in.
Some are better than others, don't get me wrong. Some of these channels seem to have managed to get in with local law enforcement, or they've developed a better understanding of what exactly they need for the cops to actually be able to do something. But still, you should probably just be leaving this kind of shit up to, you know, law enforcement. Because a lot of the times these guys aren't working with the police, or they don't get the right information.
Hold up, that's totally a bad criticism, leaving it up to law enforcement, because they have to deal with the bank robbers, the terrorists, all the sort of garbage stuff that goes on. And even with police officers, military, whatever you got, a neighborhood watch still helps. People still make neighborhood watches. They still do extra precautionary measures, and those aren't in vain. They still help, right? I have a neighborhood watch right outside my apartment here, and it's not there for no reason. It has a purpose. It's just such a bad criticism. And he's gonna say that it goes on to make a more careful, more vicious predator or something. And that's also not true. These guys are pretty brain dead, black mold, brain rot, damaged people. Like they're really obviously just low quality people. When you break it down, like I don't think anyone's gonna make a more careful predator. Like, you're gonna make a super predator or whatever. It's just kind of a weird conspiratorial idea that he has here.
They don't capture the right evidence, and all they've done is...
By the way, and Jidion also, he does capture the right evidence, and he does get a lot of people convicted. So these points are so relevant, man, so relevant. It's kind of a waste of time listening to this. I think he should have cut it out of the video. It's not really making sense. You know, he's just talking about hypotheticals.
Is create a more careful predator who's going to face no consequences. And if you can't understand why people creating more careful and more aware predators while they're trying to put predators behind bars is a bad thing, well, don't know how to explain that one to you. But like I was saying...
Don't know how to explain that one to you. Come on, dude. Like, you don't think it's kind of like some strange conspiracy that you're just coming up with personally here? And that you don't know how to explain it to people? Yeah, because it's your weird conspiracy that doesn't really make sense. Plenty of sex offenders get caught, and they get caught once, twice, 3 times, and they don't become crazy super predators, right? It just seems so bogus, man. Because these guys keep getting caught, keep getting sent to prison. How are they getting more careful? Bro, that never happens. That never happens even to the people who get arrested and spend multiple years in prison. It's just... It's wouldn't you say by that logic too that probation and all this other stuff and the police monitoring them on the offender registry, wouldn't that make them more careful super predators too? He was just kind of trying to get more ammunition against Jidion here because he just doesn't like him. It's not really a critique of Jidion's channel, it's more of a critique of Jidion.
One of the main issues I have with this
Am I right or no?
and what we're really talking about today is I think a lot of the guys who do this almost forget, I guess, what exactly it is they're doing.
The Duck was talking about this August guy, whoever, you know, he was talking about how Jidion was this type of guy who would take off his shirt in a store and be like, oh, you know, I don't have a shirt on. What do you mean? And just like gaslighting like that, making content, gaslighting people for fun. And sure, that's funny sometimes. I mean, a lot of those people get caught and the police get called and whatever. It's that risky, like, prank type of content that, well, you're kind of just annoying people. If you hear that background noise of screaming, I just have actually sounds concerning, but it sounds like, children playing a little bit. So, I don't know. I hope it's okay. There's a woman screaming. But anyway, I'm just in Latin America, so who knows. So either way, that old content wasn't as good to me, and he's improving and he's reinventing himself, and he deserves some credit for that, I think. Even though August the Duck is saying like, oh yeah, isn't it this fool who used to make this like mediocre garbage content? No, bro, he used to make this mediocre stuff and now he improved. So he deserves some credit. Good for you, Jidion. That's a plus for you, right?
That kind of guy. He reacted to it on stream and thousands of his fans came after me saying shit like, you don't get it, you're just a fucking loser. Jidion's a comedic genius, he's a great guy. And then, you know, like a year later, Jidion deleted all of his videos, said he found God, and said that all of his old videos were immature and he shouldn't have made them. So, you know, you can call me a visionary if you want. I won't stop you. Anyways, that's not like super important to the video today. I just wanted to mention that. Like I was saying, the clip that we're talking about today kind of caught me off guard because a lot of people have sent me Jidion's predator catching content, and really, if I'm being completely honest, I thought it was kind of some of the better stuff on YouTube when it comes to that genre. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, I still wouldn't call it like good necessarily. It has all the issues that all this kind of content has, but Jidion does seem to normally try and get what the police need to do something, and a lot of his videos do end with these guys getting arrested. Now, I don't know how many of them have actually been charged. It's probably not that many. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Correct me if I am, please. But it does seem like the majority of these videos do end with a guy in cuffs. He seems to generally take it pretty seriously. He's not just going out trying to like beat these guys up for fun. He confronts them professionally. It doesn't ever seem like he's really just trying to get a rise out of somebody for content. For the most part, it's pretty level-headed stuff. And as far as the genre goes, like I said, it's some of the better stuff on YouTube, I think. However, my opinion of it has changed a bit after I've dug into it more. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough to begin with, though, to be honest.
Also, like, this guy's contradicting himself, being kind of hypocritical. Like, if it's some of the better content on YouTube, why are you saying it doesn't belong on YouTube? That was like one of the first things you said, right? Just kind of weird how this guy does mental gymnastics and circles around these topics. Like, are you gonna agree or disagree on something? You know, like, instead of doing both, right? Does it belong on YouTube? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that? Does not belong on YouTube. I mean, are you gonna have any consistency in your ideas? Like, I just, you know, what do you don't even, how do you even understand what this guy is saying if he just says two contradicting things? Continuing.
Because I saw this clip the other day for, I guess it's like a membership for the predator catching content that he does, and I don't know guys, it's really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I think it's something worth talking about, because like I was saying earlier, I think a lot of these guys sort of get to a point where they almost start to forget what they're doing, and maybe that's what we're seeing here. I'm going to show you guys the clip in full, and then we're going to go through it. Again, this is like an advertisement for a membership service to his predator catching content. Please subscribe.
What's this?
EDP Watch episodes early and completely uncensored? Do you want to listen in on these disturbing one-on-one calls we have with these monsters?
Do you usually like rub your or do you it?
And do you want to support our mission to protect those who cannot protect themselves? Then why not join EDPWatch.com?
It's showtime!
Get extended, early, uncut, and exclusive.
Honestly, I think this is a pretty cool sort of commercial. Like, bro, all the other ad blogs on YouTube are gonna be 10 times more boring than this. Come on, this is way cooler, right? I think 10 out of 10 ads, to be honest. I hate ads, but this is like pretty funny.
The following content may cause extreme disgust.
Okay, so obviously, I think there are a few different things wrong with this little plug. One, I think, is just the overall vibe, like the editing style, the way this was scripted. Again, we are talking about content where the entire focus is going after people who try and manipulate, exploit, and do some of the worst things imaginable to some of the most vulnerable members of our society. Like, we're talking about child predators here, and it's like an Adult Swim parody commercial. Now, look, don't get me wrong, I'm not the kind of guy who thinks that, like, humor should be off limits for.
Well, I mean, it is like an Adult Swim sort of thing, and at the same time, with Adult Swim, they make fun of these creeps too. I mean, don't they have a bunch of jokes on Adult Swim that have to do with the same sort of stuff as this does? So it doesn't really make sense again.
For certain things. I think that there's room for humor in basically anything, but I really can't help but feel like editing something like this and making something where you're talking about what Jidion's talking about here in this style is in poor taste. To me, it's just a genre of content that should be treated a little bit more seriously, because these guys are trying to catch these predators. That's a completely different thing than, for example, making a video where you make fun.
I mean, you can take something more seriously if you want, but not everyone wants to like live life with a frown and like be serious about everything. I mean, some people want to go to law school and be lawyers and be serious and debate things for their livelihood and all day every day. But I mean, some people just want to have fun. Again, it's kind of just your tone and your mood about things is just sort of lackluster and annoying. I don't know.
Of somebody who was on the show to catch a predator. Because when you're watching that show, you know that those guys are fucked. That show was done with law enforcement. They all got arrested. Like, you knew what was going to happen to them. With these guys, it's not really the same thing. Like, it's kind of weird to edit a video in this style when, like I mentioned,
this is not nearly as severe as the way they did it in the original Chris Hansen. So, again, you can't compare them. Like, Chris Hansen show literally made someone commit. So I don't see what complaints you could have about Jidion's one, because nobody's getting hurt, nobody's committing. So this kind of seems like the superior one in that comparison, right?
Earlier, you could just be making a significantly more safe, cautious, and aware predator who's going to be a more effective predator. Like, we're talking about catching people who want to prey on children. Maybe limit it
again, making a more safe, cautious, and aware predator. It just seems like a super weird conspiratorial nonsense claim. We already talked about it, right? If people are going to prison a bunch of times, repeat offenders, go to prison for 5 years for this grape, 5 years for that grape, 5 years for that grape, like 4 times, a bunch of people. You can see this. These people exist. Like, they didn't get more careful. Sorry, man. Sorry to shatter your dreams, bro. Like, I don't know.
Explosion effect?
It's not how it works.
Just a thought. Also, like,
using
EDP as like a meme in this advertisement seems like really, really poor taste, because that's like one of the biggest examples of how this stuff usually ends. EDP didn't go to jail. Nothing happened to EDP. Sure, he was banned off YouTube.
Calling it EDP isn't super poor taste, man. Maybe that just offends you and your little feelings, because EDP is on the loose and he didn't go to prison. Like, his whole point here is that calling it EDP Watch and making the show based on EDP is weird, because EDP went more or less unpunished, didn't get the prison time that he deserved, didn't get handled by the courts and the police and the system properly, and he didn't get punished right? And so Duck is saying, by using EDP as an example, this guy who goes unpunished, isn't that distasteful because he went unpunished? It's like, no, bro. Obviously, EDP is a huge example that everyone knows, and that's why he named the show that. And if he didn't go unpunished, isn't that the reason to even have this show? Isn't that more reason to catch all these guys and actually make sure that they're punished? Like, you know? Isn't that the reason to go out there and catch more of these guys and make sure more of them go punished? And they're taken care of and taken out of society properly. It just doesn't add up. So Duck's points are garbage again. I'm not against this guy. I'm trying not to be against this guy, but he has no good points that I can see here. I'm on Duck's side at this point. The August the Duck guy. I'm trying to advocate for him at this point. And it's just like stupid point after stupid point. I mean, maybe he's just having a bad day. He didn't wake up on the right side of the bed kind of thing, because this criticism just seems doesn't hold water at all. It doesn't have any energy.
But like, he didn't go to jail and then he got caught trying to do it again. Like, you're kind of exposing yourself here, guys. You're using the most famous example of why your content is kind of a bad thing and doesn't really work as a way to advertise your content. You're kind of showing your hand there that you don't really care if these guys don't actually end up going to jail. Thirdly, it seems like conversations between a predator and what they think is a minor is a really...
And EDP does not prove that this content does not work. I mean, it's just, there's no direct link there. I mean, again, it's like, come on, dude.
really strange thing.
Let's see if he says anything that kind of makes more sense here.
Like, why would you want to read that? I mean, you want to read the chats between a guy role-playing as a little girl or a little boy and a man who thinks that they are a little girl or a little boy? Why the fuck would you pay for that? Like, that's crazy behavior. Selling it is just as weird. Like, you realize that's what you're doing, right, Jidion? You're essentially selling child predator role-play transcripts. That's weird, dude. Not only that, there's audio too. Like, how the fuck did this make it past the drawing board? This is an insane thing to try and sell a membership for. And then the whole like fucking...
Okay, it's not that weird. You want to see how they actually did it in the chats and everything, how they caught them, how they lured them to the destination, how they how the predator actually talked, how they lured him. You know, it's a whole topic of like, wow, how did they lure him? It's educational. Again, like educational content. It's healthy for people to understand how this really works. It's like, whatever, dude. Maybe you just have this soft personality where you think everything is weird. Sorry, but there are people who get offended by everything and who have this soft personality. They think everything is weird and creepy and they don't like a lot of stuff and they just have this negative attitude. Like, sorry, Duck, if you're like that. But I mean, that's not against Jidion. That doesn't mean Jidion's the bad guy here, right?
The drawing board. This is an insane thing to try and sell a membership for. And then the whole like fucking Disney sweepstakes shit where it's like, you can win a predator catching experience. Like, are you shitting me? Jidion fans got really mad at me the last time I said this, but I'm gonna say it again. I'd have a really hard time believing that like the average Jidion fan is an adult. If you just read through the comments on his channel, you can kind of tell that that's like not the case. So, I mean, on the list of crazy shit I've heard YouTubers say, advertising to what I've got to imagine is an audience full of teenagers. The chance to be flown out to meet a fucking child predator is pretty fucking nuts. Like, look, I'm gonna give Jidion the benefit of the doubt here and say that if he ever did this, that he'd probably make sure that it was an adult. But I mean, he doesn't say that in this advertisement, which you have to. So I don't know, man. That's just a little wacky for me. A little much. Again, even if he did say adults only, treating this as some sort of like fun, cool experience. Like, you would be meeting a person who wants to have sex with a child. Who the fuck wants to do that? You know what I mean? Like, why are we treating this like some funny game? I mean, seriously, on my list of things that I would like to do with my free time, flying out somewhere to meet up with a child predator has got to be right at the bottom. And I really think the fact that Jidion or his team or whoever put this together thinks that the average person would be interested in that enough to pay for it really sort of shows some true colors and is indicative of these guys not doing this for the right reason. You should not be having fun doing this. Reading chat logs from guys who have no issue exploiting and ruining the lives of...
Hold up, guys. So you're saying that you shouldn't be in this crazy sweepstakes, you shouldn't be having fun with this and everything. It's just that stick in the mud, negative Nancy, schmancy, weirdo attitude that you have about it, everything. Even with the transcripts, you were trying to make it sound super weird, like how they were role-playing. They were role-playing to be little kid transcripts. Why would you sell that? Dude, no, you're just making it sound super weird. Like, come on, dude. Like, with this Duck guy, like, come on. You're the one making it sound creepy and weird and fucked up. And then with the sweepstakes, it's like, yeah, meet your favorite YouTuber, dap up Jidion, see how he's catching the predator, see the actual logistics, the boots on the ground, the strategy behind it. and tracking the predator down and getting them to come to a certain location, right? It's interesting. It's just really super interesting. It's a curiosity to a lot of people. And Jidion elaborated, you have to be over 18 for this. Obviously, you shouldn't be bringing, you know, it wouldn't make sense if they weren't over 18, right? So, and I mean, his criticism with saying that it's a weird thing to like be going on a trip to see Jidion and everything. I mean, you don't know how a predator catching crew works. There are a lot of people super interested in that, man. And it's a whole operation. It can be elaborate. They can have multiple devices, multiple people helping out, setting up the whole situation, setting up the cameras. Even if you're just interested in the camera work, how they have the hidden cameras here and there, right? There's a million things that could be interesting about it. And so again, with this duck guy, this stick in the mud attitude, the attitude where he has to make everything into like a super creepy scenario. It's just, man, it's really annoying at a certain point. It's just over and over again, you know? So continuing though.
Children, meeting up with them, making jokes about it. These are not things that I think you should really want to do. Is that subjective? I guess. Not very, though, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe they're seeing it differently. I don't really know how you would. To me, there is no reasonable explanation on the planet as to why you would be trying to sell the chat and audio logs of child predators, and I don't think there's a logical or reasonable explanation for the people buying it either. Everybody's fucking weird in this.
Again, people are interested, they're curious, they want to be educated. It's a morbid curiosity. It's a radical truth thing. People want to know how this actually works. People want to know the truth, right? If people are looking at it from that perspective, it makes 1,000% sense. If people are looking at this situation from the ducks, like sort of depressing, creepy, weirded out perspective, then I guess it's not so good, right? And yeah, Duck sounds super opinionated, by the way. Yes, you are sounding super opinionated and against all this because you started this video trying to defame Jidion and with the idea in mind to like make fun of him for all of this. I guess. I mean, it seems like this guy has something against Jidion. I just can't see any other way. It doesn't make sense, right? Anyway.
Well, guys, what do you think? How do you think we should view this plug? Because honestly, like I said, I feel like Jidion feels like he's probably doing this for the right reasons. And parts of his content, you can watch it and come out thinking that, but when you see shit like this, when your entire thing is supposedly protecting the kids, and then you turn around and use a child predator to help advertise a service that's only gonna make you money, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I don't think that humor should be like off limits, even when you're talking about stuff like Jidion does. But I don't know, when you're basically selling...
You do know, bro. You do know. I don't know. It's weird, that whole mentality. It's like, dude, man, you do know. It's just for people who are curious, who are fascinated with predator catches, who are looking up to Jidion as a hero figure. Because he is. He's getting rid of the scum of the earth. He's getting them locked up in cells. He's keeping the children safe. He's stopping these guys from being repeat offenders. It's like not he's a community hero. It's not super weird to see how people would want to go on a trip with him and then see how he actually operates everything, and maybe they can make $1 million predator catching channel just like he is. It's like super simple, like why people would be interested in this stuff, man. And I mean, this duck guy, I mean, if I look at his channel and everything, I mean, he used to hide behind the cute animal picture and everything, but I mean, looking at him in real life here, it's just like, I don't know, man. The arrogant attitude, know-it-all voice, it really gets under my skin personally. If I'm going to say an opinion here, he seems like this know-it-all prick kind of guy. I don't know. He's talking about this stuff like he knows everything about it, and he's like super disturbed by Jidion, and I feel like it's an act. Like this guy definitely just doesn't like Jidion, and he's trying to come up with any reason to turn people against him. I I know it seems like maybe it seems a little bit conspiratorial, but um, why else is this guy like saying that every little thing is weird and creepy, crazy, and in bad taste? And this guy, I mean, he just kind of seems like that kind of guy where you're like, oh, hey, want to go play some basketball? And they're like, no, basketball is boring. And you say, well, maybe you're boring. And it's like with this guy, and he's saying everything that Jidion is doing, that it's creepy, weird, in bad taste. I mean, maybe you're in bad taste. Maybe you're creepy. Maybe you're weird. Maybe you're weirded out by everything, man. Kind of a you thing, no? Seriously.
The
Yeah.
chat logs of child predators, and you're inviting people to come out on predator catches like it's some sort of fun thing that you'd spend a Sunday doing. I don't know, it just feels like things are not being done for the right reasons, and people's hearts are probably not where they should be. Am I looking too far into it? Maybe. I don't really think I am, though. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And again, before I let you guys go, don't forget, if you want to start learning more about your family heritage and your history,
Nope. No thanks, I don't. People's hearts aren't in the right places. I mean, again, Jidion's a hero. He's helping the community. I mean, obviously it is. Like, stop saying that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why he keeps saying that, right? He is profiting off of this. Same thing. Same thing with Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Jeff Bezos made a really great company. I had a lot of Amazon delivered to my Amazon packages delivered to my place, and it was helpful. You know, he made a service that helps millions and millions and maybe a billion people. I don't know. A lot of people are helped out by Amazon products, and that's why he reaps the rewards. He deserves the profits, right? Same thing with Jidion. He's a local hero. He's in the community, getting rid of these scumbags, being a good example for people. He's someone that people should look up to, right? And he gets the rewards for it. He gets paid properly for it. That makes sense. He wouldn't be able to do this without it. So I think it's a great thing that Jidion can do this and make money for it. Where before, I mean, 99% of the time you couldn't make money from this. Before like the 2000s, the 2010s, it would be impossible. You would have to be like maybe just Chris Hansen on TV, or if you're not, then you're out of luck. There's nothing else you can do. So really think about this whole situation makes me realize that Jidion is sort of a hero of sorts, and that a lot of people should be looking up to this guy, and that this guy's criticism is super bogus, and I think you should keep hiding behind the cute animal face that you try to put on here, because I don't know, you just seem super arrogant and distasteful about stuff that is, this guy's doing heroic shit. Like, it is what it is, you know? Not much else to say about it. And you and your 3-minute commercial, you know, your 3-minute plug for your $10,000 sponsor, whatever it is, whatever amount of money. So, whatever, August the Duck, you really messed up with this one. I was expecting more. I was expecting at least one point that was like really ironclad and reliable, and it just wasn't there. So, is what it is. Win some, you lose some. This guy didn't have the right idea. Peace out, guys.